3. Brazil looking to make history, and they're on the attack side. We've heard about OpTic's defense. Let's put it to the test. Victor wanting to take some aggression right off the bat. He won't get out of there with a kill, but damage has been done.
Yeah, he's also forced them back at least a little bit, and you can see that there's already been a wall deep within B, so free information for the side of OpTic in the early stages of the round, and also the fact that they're just going to rely on Ye to almost take contact on the other side. So there's going to be a lot that Loud have to sort of get through if they're going to make it to a site without anybody knowing or without being stopped.
Yeah, OpTic's flank game going to be put to the test. You know, with the A site being covered the way it is, Loud are desperately hoping for more aggression to come through. But OpTic are playing this one disciplined, perhaps knowing that they could be running in to a ready attacking side. This is all going to be coming through the tunnel. Pancata's already good for one. Victor, with damage done earlier, can convert, but now they're going to start to dive down on him from above. Sadik blindsiding and leaving it into a 2v4. They even know exactly where Finesse is, and he'll be taken down with nothing to go his way in that hole.
It needed to be a miracle with the elevated positions of the remaining players of Loud, and they do very well there. Like I said, they had to almost force through quite a bit of utility, but also managed to isolate themselves the duels. And they did it excellently, like forcing some pretty awkward positions to come through, especially the wraparound through tube into the kitchen. And yeah, they make that look a lot easier than it probably should have been. Solid start for them, and on the other side of things, well, at least thus far, not been much of an investment at all for the side of OpTic. Just a few bullets purchased up for the Headhunter, and a very heavy reliance on Ye to get something in this round.
I really like Loud's buy. It just gives them so much ability to duel on range, and on a map like this can be incredibly important. You can see that, for now at least, you have early aggression out of OpTic, grab an orb, they run back, and now you're going to just see them duel slowly but surely, look to pick off a player of Loud here and there, but with the weapons that are in their hands, they have to rely on the element of surprise. Unfortunately for them, it hasn't come through.
Yeah, I like the attempt. One player basically playing straight aggressive, and then the other using the screen as anti-flash to try and make his way through. Doesn't work out, but it's an idea that might be something that OpTic can try and use into the future of the rounds. I think something that has to be premised, which is going to be quite interesting, is the impact of KO. Because that's the real difference. I thought you got that jumping for a second. Prime Gaming flawless, of course, but yeah, one of the things that I think they're going to have to play against, which I don't necessarily know if Lau will be too used to, is going to be that KO. Almost denying utility, especially when it comes to that second half, being able to take out some of the util that they have. And on the other side, a far more aggressive entry-heavy composition with the likes of Sadik and Aspas almost playing not quite a double duelist, but it somewhat is.
When you invest this much into a round, obviously round 2, you're typically going to see heavy Spectres, maybe you get a Marshal in there, but it's so valuable to have that Prime Gaming flawless, to walk out with 2 Bulldogs, the Guardian, and they've got everything to work with coming into this. And still, clearly it's going to be favored to OpTic, and they should take the round, but it's about the opportunities for Loud. As they're grouped up and looking to take these fights together, this could be very scary for any OpTic member holding down. Luckily, though, there are 3 in position on this A side.
Got a decent amount of information early. Yeah, he's already going to get that free kill and just back out of there. Pangada gone means they won't have the wall to sort of separate things off, but it looks like they're just going to try and play aggressively instead. Crashy's on the swing. Doesn't get much to trade there, but actually, it's gone quite well for Loud up until the point where the remaining players swing, and now it's left all onto Sadak. Any more damage would be great. It's only going to be 1, but even still, Mitch, 3 kills in that sort of round, not bad.
All things considered, yeah, you got to be pretty happy with it. They run into a 3-player stack. Sadik's able to get the opening, Ye able to get the opening and TP out of there. Like, there's a lot of problems for them there, and yet they still do exactly as expected or wanted of them. I think Ye is going to be a huge problem, though, on this map. The ability for this guy to just get in your face, take a fight, and bail out of there immediately. We've already seen what he can do with a little bit of early round aggression.
I think also just the fact that he then farms up a free operator. Like, that's the most terrifying prospect with Ye, is just how good he is with that weapon.
On this map in particular as well. He can go anywhere he wants.
Now the buy, not perfect for OpTic. Especially in this sort of scenario, you're kind of hoping you can get things a little bit more clean. I will say as well, though, the 0 points that have been coming through from Victor already, and we're only in, what, like round 4? He's got them so much early information that they can almost work with their rotations and know roughly where these players are going to be. They also have both of their traps just holding into mid control, so any pressure in that direction not going to be working out for free.
It is a different face to OpTic than what we're used to seeing on the so far in this series, where their defensive side is very much based around utility, information, and turtling. But on IceBox, you know, you're going to be pushing up every round. You'd be a lunatic. Finesse hasn't been spotted just yet. Playing on the back of yellow with his judge is a nasty play, especially when there's already players here to tag them on the cross, to give away this information. Now, Sadik, I'm not quite sure if he's thinking about going across, so he's waiting until he gets healed up, but now his utility's destroyed. That's actually a pretty big blow. It means that when he goes around yellow, he won't be able to TP out. He won't be able to escape. Oh, and sends them right into the hands of Finesse, who gets nothing done. A good answer back by Les and by IceBox. This round is now in contention yet again.
He's actually got the Viper's Pit. Using it here would be a risk. He baits in the swing, goes for the final kill and hits it as well. The Red Bull clutch from Les. I won't lie to you, I didn't believe, was caught off guard, but OpTic, I don't know, they had that one in the bag and it slipped.
Sky is 9-1. Les popping off. We talk about the Viper's Pit, he didn't even need it, and the best part about it is that he was so close to getting taken down by that judge. The timing worked out perfectly for him, and you can see, I mean, all right, hold on, what's happening here? It's waiting for something to go down. Yeah, you can already see that over on Loud's side, they had the same reaction. They were getting loud. They were hyped up. With 3-1 on the board, facing into an eco, this is a beautiful scenario. Interesting, Ye's got the Vandal here. And I think, you know, obviously you'd say, oh, he's got the Headhunter to play with, but he really wants to be able to take a duel and get that Tour de Force online.
But that's the thing, one kill can make a huge difference. Never mind! 2 bullets from Crashies is all he needs. He's put this round straight back into contention already. They've spotted out Victor. They are going to have themselves control onto the site. Ye is gone, he gets his orb, but not in the manner of which he wanted. And after some dangerous potential, they put down the Viper's Pit. This can actually work in the favor though, because they can get nice and close. Rez being baited out, the swing will come off of it to defend. And although it's way too close for comfort with, well, technically 4 players going down, Loud at least keep themselves around.
Viper's Pit, Rez committed into that, 3 players lost, and then obviously the Rez coming through to bring things back into just 2 alive. But 4 kills total was fantastic. This. Nah.
I need it slower.
If he got the 3rd as well, I think we would have had to escort him out of the building. 4-1. Loud doing well on the attack side for sure, but that was a big wrench in the works in that round. It shouldn't have come as close as it did. And Tom, you know, in this one here, OpTic have a lot more than just weapons to work with.
You want to play? Let's play.
All online. If you don't manage to win a round when you got 5 ults, either you didn't use them or you're not very good.
Well, your opponents had 5 ults. Maybe.
maybe, but hey, already you're going to see that Tour de Force put into play. This deep wall again, mainly just being used for information and to delay if they need that rotation to come through early, but at least for now, they're almost wary that there are players elsewhere. And again, it's something that Loud have been incredible at, not only within this tournament, but within their own region. It's just these slow default rounds, not giving anything up, no information. The 0 point finds nothing. So as of right now, well,
I have the spike.
There's some information for OpTic of where they're not, but they don't know where they are.
Yeah, it's a pretty big map. It won't really feed you into some heavy rotations just off of spotting a small bit of control is open. 45 seconds left. Loud are starting to gear up to the A site. Oh, Merved! He got wall banged down to 17 HP after using that Viper's Pit. Only barely hanging on to life. But he does manage to at least stay alive.
They
to keep his defense up.
Blade Storm and a Tour de Force. So because they've actually been hit by that null command, they don't have much to actually play into until that goes offline. So it's delayed them so much that there's now only 20 seconds, and unless they're going to go for a bit of an audacious plant around the outside, I think that's actually what they're going to do. They're just going to try and avoid this altogether.
Yeah, but that's the problem, right? Marv being dashed on, gets taken down by IceBox. Weapon upgraded, Loud with full control. The res on Victor going to be committed already, but they've already narrowed themselves down to just basically a Hunter's Fury alongside the Tour de Force from Ye. A lot committed, OpTic not getting very much for their trouble, and this Tour de Force just keeps on going. Sadik with a lot of control, a 4v1 in Crashy's hands. This has been a clean round from Loud, and now The tables really have turned. This is how the first map felt for OpTic. Now they're on the back foot.
Yeah, I feel like I have an apology that I need to make because I was talking earlier. I was talking about this guy called Ye, and I was saying, you know, his tour de force. It seems unfair that he's able to farm it up. I take it back. It's not. It's completely fair because Sadek is an absolute monster with it as well. Like, just think, we're not even talking about the kills he got. The way he started the round, wallbanging someone down to 17 HP straight after he uses a Viper's Spear. The other thing as well to mention, I said if you use 5 ults in a round, you don't win. Something's gone desperately wrong. Beautiful. They used 4, bitch. They used 4.
That's not 5, though.
They used 4 of the 5 ults, and they got 1 kill.
So if they had to use the Hunter's Fury, easy win.
They would have at least got 2 kills.
That's essentially what Chet's saying right now in this timeout is, guys, we had the Hunter's Fury. Come on. Now, yeah, all jokes aside, unbelievable play by Loud. These guys, still, Les is 12-1.
It's pretty good. We saw Marco do something similar earlier in the tournament.
It's nuts. And you put down a Viper's Pit on the back of the site, you get wall banged down, Marved. You can't really feel like you have any less space if you're not even safe behind a solid wall in your ult. And then he gets ran, jumping right-clicked by a Jet. And the thing was, he only needed to hit 1 of those knives, right? The right-click was perfect. He could have just fired it into the ult at random, probably would have killed him. No surprise that they called this timeout, but some serious words need to be had. There is a lot to figure out, and not a lot of time to do it. Timeout already comes to an end.
Jess on the desk was talking about how like the OpTic's defensive side is something we need to almost marvel at, something to look towards, and if Loud win this first half, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I'd say it's fairly dangerous right about now. 5-1 up already in a lot of the fashion they've been doing. As I said, if a team uses even 4 ults, if you're getting 1 kill, that's a huge problem. And the fact is, it means they don't have them to play with going forward. It's only Crashies with that solo rifle that he managed to keep into this round. And on the other side, okay, sure, they had to use a lot of their own ults as a counter, but it doesn't matter because they have the economy to play with. Now, again, we're going to see this early aggression coming through. Victor able to shut down B, so they've almost stacked up the other side. And Tube obviously being held off at least by a trap. This duel could give them something, but, well, Sassy with a huge weapon advantage will take it.
Yeah, only barely still. He was left on 46 HP when Victor wasn't even ready for that fight in the first place. And look, with the pistols already, OpTic are doing a ton more damage than I would expect this early on into the round. The good thing is, Loud aren't left with nothing for the damage they've taken. They've got site control, they've got the man advantage to work with as well. And the rifle in the hands of Crashies, sure, it poses a threat, but they have a lot of players around here to deal with him. They've heard him drop down as well. So Pancata should be more than ready for that swing. And now the rifle, well, it's in Ye's hands. 5 HP.
Oh! HP. This is getting a little bit scary now. A 2 versus 2, the time ticking in their favor. Les looks away, but he's got the perfect flank to clean them up. You never really have to doubt at this point when this man is alive. Yeah, this is, again, statistically one of the best halves we've seen in the entire tournament coming out from this young man.
He's 15-1. Attack side Viper. Get the hell out of here, bro. You can't do that. Oh, and recovering this round here where there was just a glimmer of hope from OpTic. Again, great positioning out of him, but it's not a round you really want to look too closely into, especially not as we walk on into round number 8.
He's almost got, he's catching up to his age right now in kills. Les is 17 years old. This is, I think, his first time on the stage. I could be wrong. Maybe someone more, well, first time on a stage. And he is having a worldie of a performance. We doubted whether or not this man would have the confidence. Well, right now, performing unbelievably. Finesse, though, a good chance maybe to shut this out. Pancata, quick on the reaction at least. Crashes in a good position, drops a spike, peeks out, lands another, but now he's being hunted. They know his position, and it's back in a 2v2.
I like the idea to push up here. They know the spike is down and that Loud will try to seize back some space, but with a wall blocking them off, they have no choice. No way to push up towards B main. Instead,
right here,
they're going to make their way through middle. They're being watched, and it's Ye with an operator. Not a fight that you're going to want to take. In fact, they can probably get up there and take the spike if they hug the wall.
Look at Crashies. He's pushing so far down that he might have a flank. Like, realistically, Ye doesn't need to overpace in this scenario, but he's going to land the shot anyway. Now Sassy starts to doubt where that second player is going to be, because he's managed to get quite far. Stealing the spike's not going to be easy, but instead, he's going to avoid it. He leaves it on the deck, tries to bait Ye into thinking he hasn't gone through, knows exactly where he is, but Ye ego peeks him and takes him out. A second round on the board for OpTic, and a needed one at that.
Very much so. Dropping that spike was massive, and again, another big play out of Crash. He's allowing Ye to post up with the operator. It's not too much of a blow, though, for a team like Loud. 6-2 in the lead, economy flowing. They're going to be pretty comfortable jumping on out of this one.
Yeah, it was a change of pace. I always like rounds like that, coming out from a team that has been relatively controlled as well. So almost just tried to throw OpTic off balance, and instead, well, they end up losing the round, but can almost go back to what they were attempting before. Again, going to be some early information, probably for either side. Ness is making a play once more. Managing to catch them in the last couple of rounds. He's in a very good position here. First goes his way, but getting out of there is not going to be easy. He's managing to dodge the bullet, dance around, but Sassy will put him in the grave.
Caught him on the way back through. Loud. They're even hearing Victor jump around as well. They know that he's here. He's got his knife out. No idea that Let's is already behind him. Viper's Pit available, and it's going to be used to guarantee the plant. And at this point, oh, Sadik, you nasty... Okay, he almost got caught. So close to going down. Instead, he's going to be the thorn in the side, buying so much time for his team. As OpTic have to try to deal with him. Good shot by Ye. Now they know that both players are around here at least.
The thing is, playing into the Viper's Pit's not going to be easy. They need to kill Sadik, and actually, Crashes wins that battles as well. The thing is, there is a wraparound coming through from Sassy again, going on that late flank. He's going to be watching, waiting, killing off those players as they tried to leave, or maybe not killing them off. It's become a very awkward battle. He'll just use his shock dart instead. Aboye's already made the decision just to save. Again, playing into that Viper's Pit just seemed like an inevitable victory for the opposing side. And it will be now a 7. That half is won for Loud on their attacking side. And well, at least they're going to save an operator, I guess.
They might not. They really might not. There's a push coming through on both sides. Loud are trying to deny this weapon. They've spotted him out, but Ye gets one. Half a second, and at least one of them's going down, but just about saved by the bell. 7-2 and a timeout for OpTic. They really need to get the ball rolling coming into this round. And look at last man, he's still 16-3. Had that Viper's Pit last round, which pretty much guarantees them. That's why OpTic slow it down and end up not going for it. There was just too many things to deal with: the mid flank, the Viper's Pit, and then obviously the players that were still remaining that they did manage to thin out the numbers of.
Yeah.
But
I think Victor as well, just being caught in a position that ultimately he was so reliant on someone not already being crossed and being in the other direction. It was a huge risk that just ends up playing perfectly, especially when the rest of the players weren't really in a spot to do anything from then onwards. They were maybe expecting a fallback in the other direction because of the almost false information that he was selling from his jump peak. So definitely ended up as a problem. Now, you might be looking at Marv in a minute playing an operator. The reason for that is the tour de force is online for Ye. So they're going to juggle some weaponry around just to make sure that they will have somewhat of a purchase going into this one, but it's not going to be a pretty scenario. And again, if Loud managed to win this, especially off the back of them still having at least some finances available, 8-2 and likely no purchase available for OpTic.
yeah, really backed against a wall at this point, stuck in a corner. And at 7-2, it's time to step it up. Pause has been called and talked through. And now we see just what they can do. Ye with the tour de force could be a huge factor. We thought it would be, but last time he pulled it out, Sadik had the answer. This time, not even a scoped weapon for Loud to play with. And you've already heard the tour de force pop. A lot of players stacked up on A as well. This is going to be a big fight for OpTic, but they've got to come out ahead, especially when they're stacked like this.
Clearing him from this spot. Not going to be easy, but the information there almost trying to set him up. It's not a shot connected, and he has to duck out. The initial battle not going their way, and in fact almost having to surrender up the majority of this site. Excellent work from Loud to be able to clear. Pop Flash gives them a chance to swing. Crashies already being able to find out one. Ye's got another. The swing from Outburst. He's going to connect and go back through. Runs out of bullets, but the jumping shots grants him a third. It leaves Marv alone. Operator in hand, he's given one for free and puts it into this 1v1 scenario. Sadak trying to bait him in up top, swinging across, even going back around behind him. Neither player really having the information of where the other currently resides, but the spike tap might just give it away. Marv scoped in, but the peek doesn't come through. Sadak desperately hoping that someone's gonna peek him, and Marv, he will land it on that Red Bull clutch.
Oh, wow. I think I was holding my breath that entire time for OpTic. That is a lifeline, a much-needed round win off the back of Marv's big Red Bull clutch. Late to the party. And the fact that IceBox was able to get this done, you know, a stinger was what he was up against there. It was the only weakness that OpTic had coming into it, and you saw Finesse probably would have had that kill if it's a Vandal, if it's a Phantom, if it's anything else. But unfortunately, the stinger doing him dirty. 7-3 we go. Either way, OpTic managed to recover the round. Now they come into this round with Operator, but look at Loud. They've got 2 ultimates. It's again the same thing. Tour de Force and Blade Storm. IceBox not going to connect to start with. He's going to be cancelled out as well. That's a perfect null command to completely deter any Loud aggression.
Yeah, it'll slow down the push as well. Because the fact is, 2 of their players are currently using weaponry that revolves around their abilities. You've got the Blade Storm and the Tour de Force. Now, this is the bailout that Loud have with their economy, is those 2 ults can save them when they start to run out. And now they're going to swing back in the other direction. Lesto is actually caught by Crashies. Again, this man just seems so good at catching them off guard and finding such impactful kills. This removes the screen completely.
And in this round where, again, Finesse has that weak weapon, having to go to a Spectre, it's huge to find that early duel. A res online to play with as well in the hands of OpTic. And although Loud have theirs, it's not looking like they're going to get to use it. Pancada taken down by Marv. IceBox tagged up by the Hunter's Fury, only barely surviving again thanks to Finesse having such a weak weapon.
I'm actually amazed he's still alive here. Rez, though, looking to try and confirm this one. There shouldn't really be a chance. That's the problem. He's only got himself a single knife remaining, and while that's already going to dissipate, it leaves it all onto Sassy, and a good recovery there from OpTic. Not allowing anything to come off the back of those weapons. More importantly, getting a 4th on the round. And if they get this back to 5, Mitch, it's definitely not a done deal.
Oh, it is a remarkable recovery if they finish this in a 7-5 half. Especially with Loud winning the pistol, I do not mind that at all. And you've got to look at how some of these rounds went down. With Marv having to clutch out a round that just about allowed them to have economic advantage. Early push out of Loud sees IceBox all the way up mid, almost taking down Finesse, which would have been the res out of the round as well, but he whiffs those blades, and then OpTic are able to buy their way back into the round. There were a couple of dangers there, but they avoided them, and now, after what was a terrible start to the half, OpTic might actually be able to walk out of this one in a pretty good spot. Even using the Viper's Pit at the start of this round, guaranteeing control. Yeah, he's walking up. He's ready for this. He's heard it.
But it's too late, though. IceBox is gone. Like, sure, he's going to get one behind him, but now his teammate's being pressured. A plant likely, but another shot landed from Ye. It might be enough. Marv also still holding within the pit. They might have wrapped around behind him, but he's ready, hiding in the corner. So smart just to make sure that isolating him is going to be incredibly difficult, and he's landing absolutely everything. Sassy still trying to hunt this man within the pit, and he's got lost within it.
Yeah, and look, Marv is actually tracing his footsteps as well. Sassy walking back through, seeing it wide open. He's going to walk into Finesse. Round closed out, half closed out. 5 rounds for OpTic. I did not see this one coming. They have done damn well to pull this one back into a reasonable position for half number 2. The operator on Ye has been something to look at.
Yeah, no, it's been impressive. And obviously we're going to be throwing this one back off the desk to try and break down what they've just seen, because it was a solid recovery in the end.
It was a solid recovery indeed. It could have gone so much worse for OpTic, but Loud, though, they came into this map strong, and at one point, I honestly felt like, oh no, this might even be over.
Yep. I was like, is this Groundhog Day? Is Loud going to do to OpTic what OpTic did to them on Fracture? Yeah. Is this going to be one of those things where, like, you know, when I asked them to feed them back the medicine, I didn't mean in that kind of way. So, you know, good regrouping from OpTic to come back into sort of the second quarter of that half and really give us a run for what we have given them a title of defensive prowess on IceBox specifically. Less.
Viper. Viper.
Less.
That stat line as Viper on IceBox. And again, we've touched on it a couple of times, but we have to mention how young the kid is, and the fact that he's stepping up in such a big way for Loud is insanely impressive. But I do think you guys are right. There were a couple of moments there where we were looking at each other going, is this it?
Is this
like,
it?
They're just going to roll it? What was the score at 1.51, 6-1?
Yeah.
Like, it was bad. But this is the difference from, I think, the OpTic that we've seen in the past, right? A previously weaker OpTic folds in that situation.
True. They are looking a lot stronger. I do want to say that a lot of the defensive prowess I'm bringing up is just from this tournament alone, and sort of against Xerxia, that progression, that improvement that they've made has been very impressive. I will say, however, a lot of the supporting players from both of the teams, Crashies on OpTic side, less on the Loud side, has been giving me a big indication that we were talking about the tip of the spear here, but we forgot the base of the spear, and that's where a lot of this is coming from.
Is 7 rounds enough for Loud?
Yeah, at least if you're looking at the stats, it should be enough, but OpTic, they've brought a little bit of momentum back in their side.
Is it enough, though? No. Oh,
no, I'm not answering this question. No, I'm not answering the question.
Not answering.
Okay, he's
not doing it.
Do you know what? 2 people that I feel like could answer this are, of course, Mitch and Tom. Do you guys feel like it's enough?
I'll leave that one to you, Tom.
Let's not answer. Let's just...
No, Sue asked you a question. Is it enough, Tom?
I don't know. Yeah.
Tom's having some microphone issues, but yeah, he said easy. Easy game, I think.
Oh, was that Sue? Sue shouted, no.
So here we go. Half number 2 kicking off. Already got a blade going over towards yellow. And they know there's a player up top now. Sadik having destroyed it. Less grabbing a tag. 2 players in position. Sadik able to grab 1, TP out. And this is a poor start for OpTic, at least able to heal up the damage onto Ye, but with Crashies down, they lose a lot of their initiator utility, their ability to fight behind a wall. And of course that drone that they're going to want to clear out some of those ranged angles.
They've got to be careful of IceBox. It seems like they're definitely aware of the potential of his push, but they might be able to just... Oh! It's 1 bullet. But actually, it's going to be Sadik going down instead. They left Ye lurking around, and that kill might be enough just to try and bring them back in the direction. Now, they've got to be careful, because Les trying to be a little bit cheeky around the edge of this screen, but not necessarily wanting to overcommit here.
Only 1 bullet remaining in that headhunter for Ye, and then the round's going to get pretty difficult for him in ranged fights. He's going to hold on to it for now. You can see the movement coming around. The A site wall will break in the next couple of seconds, and OpTic are going to look to push through to the A site on the back of that.
He's got 2 slows, though. That's the thing. This wall was put down so late that it almost becomes very awkward for them, and he's going to be able to delay them even further. Slow in. Okay, they might be able to delay a little bit more with the screen also put into place. This is really difficult for them to try and push through. This is so well played from Loud. That's one of the most perfect pistol rounds I think I've ever seen a team play, just with the utility, with the late wall, and with the aggression on the other side of the map.
Every single part of that was just so well planned, man. The wall going down late buys them enough time. The slows in play, the shock dart. That amount of damage that he got out of that was insane. I saw everyone walk through that wall on orange. Oh, wow.
Brilliant.
And for OpTic, also, this is 4 in a row for Loud. They've won the last 4 pistols. They just keep clocking them up. And you cannot underestimate the early advantage that gives you, being able to build up those rounds. It does, however, rely on you winning the follow-up, which, I mean, OpTic have looked okay with pistols in hand, and especially the headhunter on Ye, but they don't have a lot to play around outside of finesse and Ye, like it's classics.
I'm seeing IceBox. I'm seeing a Marshall, and I'm getting flashbacks.
Ah, they're going the other side, though. Look, going to the B side. They're not going to give it to him.
He can retake.
If they have to retake, I think it's already a pretty big problem.
That is true. Sadik's here as well, though. Only 2 bullets left. There's only so much that Ye is going to be able to do here, and they are pretty well set up for a quick rotation. Screen going down a little bit deeper, but Les just playing above it, and they have a tasty little crossfire to try and delay anyone through. Finesse will at least be able to take 1, but it's now left onto Victor just to try and get anything else. Even an extra kill here would be huge going into the next when they have a buy, but it's controlled from Loud. Only 1 player lost. And while Sadik, I think, is even going to retrieve that extra SMG that was dropped to the floor.
Disciplined play is exactly what we want to see. You know, you have room to play a little overconfident in those kind of rounds in the early stages of a tournament in your regional games, but when it comes to the upper bracket final here at Masters, yeah, you got to really dot the T's, cross the I's, something like that. There are 4 rounds in between them. OpTic are in a pretty good spot. If they can manage to pick up this round here, they've got rifles in hand. Ye has to take light shields, but not the end of the world. Really, what I want to see, though, is what Loud have planned. With weaker weapons, typically we see aggression, and Loud have been a big fan of aggressive plays so far. Sadic's already up in their face, but he's been spotted. He's going to fall back now, play with the team. They might try to punish him and end up walking into these other 2, especially now with the TP, faking out that they've left. They've seen Aspas, they know the other guy's gone, but they don't know about Les, who's tucked up in this corner. Pancata's being caught pushing A, though, and this will stop OpTic from really just running forward and giving it away. And with Les peeking into them, that's an easy punish.
Yeah, the surprise factor was there, but it's not going to be fallen for. Sadak now the only defender of this site. Again, any damage he can do in this round would be fantastic, but you can see how patient OpTic are being. Making sure they clear out other portions of the map. You can see the rotation starting to go back in the other direction, and Sadak has been able to dodge the utility, but that's almost just a ruse. It's trying to pull players in as they slowly lurk back towards this A site. OpTic have played a very good round, and now the only man that stands in their way is Sassy.
Drone might even spot him out. In fact, he gives it away first. The peek yielding no results. The Bulldog tagged up on his way back out, and the punish from Marv catches both. 6 on the board for OpTic, and what's most important is that Prime Gaming flawless economy is now flowing on the attacking side.
Yeah, and I like that they're not just overcommitting to things here. Like, they managed to get themselves some opening jewels, clear out what is an early stack. They don't then just go running straight into the site.
Yeah.
They play it very, very slow, make sure that nobody can catch them off guard, and then even isolate a couple of extra jewels as the other players try to get aggressive. And you can't really blame Loud for that. That's the only real decision that they have in that scenario. Now, though, is where things get a little bit more interesting. Aspas straight in onto the operator. It seems like Sadak is just going to be playing with the Headhunter in this round at least, unless he can get a fair few kills. And already Aspas is really trying to poke the bear with an aggressive swing.
I like the idea, try to assert that map control early, but this time around, nothing connected. You've got an orb blocking off mid, and look at Marv sneaking his way in towards the tube, hoping to grab a kill in the late round or have the same lurk that, I mean, we saw from him in the previous round. For Loud, it's slow play, but they're stacked up towards the A side of the map, having so much information from Sadak. Now, though, he's in trouble. He's given up the control, and he'll try to grab a peek or 2 with the Headhunter in hand. Nothing found, and he can stick around a little longer. Great shot, but it's not the kill. He still has the TP online. He's waiting to use it. Wants to try to grab a frag first. Now revealed on the back of yellow. Nades are coming through, and he realizes, okay, I've eaten enough utility. Time to get out.
He still manages to buy a lot of time, though. That's like 20, 25 seconds just off him taking ridiculous jewels that realistically had no right of ever winning. Still, though, deeper control going to be taken. Not really a whole lot they could do. Shock Dart, not quite going to close out Finesse, so they will manage to get themselves into an afterplant.
Marv is still waiting in the tube, hoping perhaps that Sadak goes down to delete that bit of utility and allow him to flank, or to catch the rotations. There's Sadak down. Now it's Marv's time to shine. He's going to be sneaking through, grabbing this off angle, already deleting Sassy. And with this control, they have to go back and deal with him, and Les does exactly that. His 3rd kill in the round. They're defusing inside the orb, but Crashies shuts that one down. A quick double to give the round over to OpTic. And with 7 to 9 on the board, I think Loud are going to be backed into a corner. Their economy's down and out. OpTic are closing in the gap.
Very intelligent lurk there from Marv. Like, even though he ends up falling on the wraparound, it's more so the time that has been bought. And for the rest of the players, it became so incredibly difficult just to actually deal with the players in front of them when they know that there's one lurking in from behind. Again, nice attempt from Les, and it will grant him his Viper's Pit going into the next. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be able to use it. And for OpTic, well, this is them right back into the map, a map that they were looking out of in the early rounds.
Yeah, an incredible recovery. The mental to keep themselves in it the whole way, and I mean, I'm sure that first map helped, but it's been hard to find a lot of positives when we started things out here. But now with just 2 rounds between them and pistols in the hands of Loud, this is the most promising prospect for OpTic so far. Now, Loud, obviously we saw them try some nasty setups towards B earlier, and OpTic really didn't fall for them. I think now, after seeing how cautious OpTic are in the anti-ecos, Loud decide to spread out the net a little bit more, look for some duels, and of course still have this aggressive position for Sadak, but that's why they're droning it out. And He'll do well to avoid this if he does. It's turning around, it's checking below, and there it is. It spotted him.
Yeah, he's definitely stuck in an awkward position, but it's just going to be falling back. Still able to, again, just buy an awful lot of time, but the fact is, because of this, the rest of the players haven't rotated. He still has vision, so they can have a full stack up on this site. Yes, the weaponry is atrocious, but it's just the numbers that could make it awkward.
Could definitely be the difference maker. Now, they've spotted a bunch of players here. Sassy and Les showing up on the pistols, but Cat is punished on the way back. Les with another. They're even forced to use the res. Already, it's a costly round for OpTic. With 10 seconds left, they're in danger. A great tag in. Crashies, 14 HP to play with. They can't throw utility at him, and they can't get to him. The plant is secured, and OpTic now just need to deal with these last two players. But that might not be that easy of a task. I mean, now with the suppression gone, Les can actually use his Viper's Pit, but it's finding the opportunity to do that that's really going to be the problem.
Oh, trying to find something on the road. Sadak also has his headhunter back, which was taken away just moments ago. Viper's Pit now is utilized, but instantly removed by Victor, and they will close out the round. It is way too close for comfort for OpTic, but they stabilize and get themselves to 8.
I mean, they used a res in that round. This was a devastating blow by Loud with the weaponry that they had
no
in it.
command as well.
Yeah, they like, this is a situation where Loud should walk out with 2, maybe 3 kills, and instead they made a serious argument for winning the round. If it wasn't for Victor having gone up and above at just the right moment to be able to dive down knowing exactly where the Viper was, obviously seeing where the pit had emanated from, if that hadn't happened, if he was 2 seconds slower, this round becomes incredibly unpredictable.
Yeah, that's the one major cost, though, is that the Viper's Pit was utilized and didn't really have the impact that they desired. So at least something dissipated by OpTic in that round. Les as well is 25 and 10. The 17-year-old on the stage is an absolute superstar, but OpTic are grinding back, and that's the terrifying thing about this roster, and it has been for quite a while. Like, you look at their previous runs in Berlin, for example, they were never necessarily clean, but they always had this comeback mentality. There was always an option for them to just swing into the server and suddenly become this force that we've witnessed. And with an in-game leader like Finesse, I'm not surprised by that at all anymore. The difference is, okay, Loud have got themselves a timeout, got themselves a moment to breathe. What's their plan in this round?
It's a tough one. On the defensive side, rocking up into this, you already know that Les is, I mean, he's popping off. Like we said, 25 kills. The next player on the server has got 14, let alone his own team.
Yay. That's El Diablo.
Exactly. He can hype up a lot of fights in this, and I think probably you're looking at Ye and Aspus most of the time, but blindsided by Les in this series. Even still, Loud only lead by 1 round, and it's been quite a while since they've gotten one on the board. Momentum in OpTic's favor, and Sadak. Oh, this is not a great early fight. He gets tagged up, luckily not taken down. He's able to fall back and leave his utility to hold position. He'll spot them as they come past the choke point. But now he needs to land his shots, Tom. He doesn't have an escape for another couple seconds. There's an opportunity.
They found my trap.
He's not going to connect it, and they're now starting to close in on his position. This space is not a particularly good one. Left completely blind, and that has gone as badly as it could have done. Sadak completely isolated, and now Sassy's going to pop himself the Hunter's Fury, desperately trying to get them something back in this round. It's a couple of tags, but no kills.
2 tags will help, and Aspis is on the flank. Moving into their spawn, containing them for now. The problem is that the front lines aren't that strong, and now you're going to have players unable to really say anything with their utility. Tankada completely canceled out. Les, at least good for a kill, but then they lose spawn. And with Sassy down, a Viper's Pit covering the back, this is a very advanced plant that probably won't be red for the most part, although Tankada gets
past. They're not watching the flank. He's managed to get past all of the utility. He smoked it off as he walked through. I don't know if this is going to be expected. They've spotted him move within the pit. This one should be free. That's at least the first. Now they don't know where the remainder is. The swing around from Marv might have just changed it. And now it's left onto the Viper versus Viper. Les needs a huge play, and he's right on the edge of it. Marv making that move around and just looking to try and tap onto the spike. He's going to get it to half, but surely there shouldn't be an opportunity here for Les to do anything else. He does not know where that last man is, but he made a noise. He's not going to check above, at least for now. His teammates might have just called it out, and again! Let's is gonna come through when they need him the most. A 10th round on the board. This man is on fire.
Unbelievable clutch to win that one out. Les had to dig deep up against a Viper's pit, but the pit not being on the spike ultimately cost them, with Marv having to try and make a play, and the fact that he made noise getting off the rope.
I don't even know in the moment if Les heard that, but it's his teammates' call.
Yeah.
Because you see just instantly he just looks straight up and knows that there's a man above. Probably maybe the most important call in the tournament so far for them, as they now get their way to double digits. And well, OpTic, they're going to have a bye. They've got themselves a tour de force, so definitely don't count them out in any stretch. But that is a blow.
10-8. A 2-round lead. Maybe that's the wind in Loud sails now. That was a risky little peek out of Pancata. Hunter's Fury landing a tag, no kill. Drone down mid, spots them at this point. You know OpTic are spreading the net again. Oh, actually, Ye is walking all the way through. This is an incredibly aggressive push. He has no escape from here, but he's going to go for it anyways. Looking now to duel down the alley. This tour de force could decimate anybody that peeks into it, but instead Louder just giving him the space. Like, hey, you want kitchen? Yeah, take it, dude. No problem. You're not getting on the site. But now it opens the avenue for them to challenge Pancata from 2 different angles, and that could be problematic. He's going to try to push in. Ye won't hit the shot.
That is ego in Ye. I don't think he'll be used to someone doing that to him. Res online. Pancata's managed to come through. And Victor's completely confused. He thinks he's still down by the tube, and now he's managed to take a weapon. Sadak has found space as well, and now it left all onto Crashies, trying to take himself home. A 1 versus 5. Well, he'll get the 1. But yeah, that round did not go in any manner the way I expected, and definitely not that clean.
Well, OpTic tried to pull out some sneaky plays. It didn't pay off, and now they're left in a really awkward spot. No ultimates online for them, and Pancata here, I don't know how he got the second one. Victor had flashed in, he peeked left, he peeked right, but he didn't look down the alleyway again, assuming that Pancata tried to take a little bit of space, gone down the tube, something like that, but no, it was patient play out of the man who had previously sprinted with a Guardian into a tour de force. A confident play, they yield the result, and now with a 3-round lead, they are just 2 away from booking their spot in the grand finals and making history for Brazil. OpTic, 5 players stacked up. Look at the weaknesses here, though. Both Marved and Finesse are having to play with Spectres.
IceBox, an aggressive position. Already going to tag him up, so forcing him back, and they've got the screen to give him that extra little bit of space to fall. Also going to utilize the wall fairly early, and well, you can see the fallback after the drone tag, just basically trying to delay as much as humanly possible. Still though, 4 players here at the moment for Loud. They've got a solid read.
Oh yeah, they know exactly what's going on again. Sadic's aggression has been incredible. The only risk is somebody walking through middle, getting behind them under tube, but even then, that's Sassy's responsibility. He's been watching it, he's been using his util. OpTic making their way forward, and IceBox will be probably the first point of contact here. The wall's just gone down, revealing a lot of these players, and a whiff. This could be costly. IceBox up above is taken down, but that's the only kill for OpTic. They're left down with just 1 man, and Crashies gets nothing done. 12-8. This is going to be map and series point for Loud. They need 1 out of 4 to book their spot in the grand finals.
Definitely a story that some won't be surprised at. I know that there's a maybe scared Bala currently in the green room worrying about his hair. It might be lost because this team is looking so incredible at the moment. They came into this tournament as maybe one of the favorites. Even saying
Definitely.
themselves.
They're a strong team.
But they said themselves, don't hype us up too much. Don't put us on that pedestal. I feel like we might have underrated them just because of their own comments.
Yeah, sorry, Sassy. We're going to have to put you up there now, man. I mean, I think Sadak actually avoided that drone. Okay, Pancata down. I like the flash play through the smoke, detecting a weakness that mid play didn't have the utility to cover. The wall's going to be broken, though. They can't commit to the plant. Instead, they stand and fight, and that's exactly what they needed to do. IceBox, the last man alive. Now 1v4, an ace clutch needed after already finding Marved. This might just be a little too much to ask, and it looks like OpTic will stay alive for at least a moment longer.
Yeah, it seems after the last round, they've taken the information they gained by Pancarda's previous position and used it to their advantage in this one, a much faster paced take. Now, for Loud, in terms of economy, there's not a lot of risk here. On the other side of OpTic, they can't really afford to fight this man too much. You can see he's got his Bladestorm. So he doesn't even need to really worry about losing his weapon here. There'll be plenty available, whereas they have to be very careful. 3 kills for him. Again, going to force a lot of rebuys for OpTic going into the next round, and they will still have a buy.
3 attempts to close this out. A buy here, a buy in the next round. And Ultimate's online as well. Everything is set up for Loud to take this across the line. OpTic have got a monumental task ahead of them.
That's the thing, though. It's never, especially with a team like OpTic, it's never over until you've got that 13 on the board. So there is plenty still to play for here. Weaponry, not going to be too much of an issue. An early use of that Viper's Pit. The drone actually not going to be able to completely clear him, or spot him at least. An aggressive push from IceBox actually dropped. This lurk has worked out wonderfully, and now he can try and reclaim that control over the pit. This man is on 30 kills and looks to try and find a couple more.
Victor and Ye both 1 HP. They've been tucked inside this ult the entire time, waiting for the aggression to come through, waiting for Les to retake the control. And there's the reward. 1 dropped, rotations heard. They know now that the A side is where the push will come through, and Sadik has caught them on the cross. Now they can sit back. They don't need to overcommit, but with 3 players on the A side already, Loud want to fight. They want to close this one out with a bang. The res, though, onto Marv. It might buy them a little bit of an opportunity. Less attempts to punish it, but he'll get nothing. And because they saw him and the pit now went down, they're going to walk onto the beam.
This is so much information. There's a res on the other side, but it's likely not going to be utilized, and that control will grant an afterplant for the side of OpTic. Not much they can do about that. Wall not going to be broken in time. Leicester over the top has managed to catch another. A Viper's Pit on the other side, and a lurk from Crashies makes it back into a 3 versus 3, and still the pressure on for Loud.
Take a look at what Loud have to work with here, though. No drone to find Marv inside that pit. Rez gonna come through. They're committing to it. 4v3. So difficult to get this control. They hope that the spams will yield them something at least. And they've spotted one up close. Finesse dealt with. This is getting scary for OpTic. They're on the back foot now. Stuck right at the back of the pit. Crashies is charging forward, trying to deal with them, and he's doing just that. It's all left on to just 1. The spike is gonna take them both down. Marv, the man who went down, rezzed up, brought back into the round, used his Viper's Pit, securing, buying them so much time. That was a close one. It relied on OpTic digging deep, but they've done it. Still, 2 more needed to make this happen, and that one in itself, we don't see this, but that one was pretty close.
That's the thing. If they end up winning this match, this series, I feel like Crashies has to be the MVP. Even though it was a phenomenal first map from the likes of Victor, I just think the amount of sheer impact plays this man have been off the charts. Keeping them in rounds, winning them rounds, and now another timeout being taken for Loud. Again, they can still purchase. That's not going to be the end of the world, and there might even be a piece or 2 in terms of shields missing for the other side. They've also got some pretty powerful ultimates online. A Hunter's Fury in Sassy's hands really can do a lot of damage, although Crashies has one as well. But I'm looking at that Bladestorm. I feel like we haven't had too many pop-off rounds from IceBox in this game so far. I think we're due one.
I mean, he's bottom of the scoreboard, and I'm just going to say, Les is 33 and 12.
Yeah, it doesn't get any less ridiculous.
Hey, it's actually crazy looking at that scoreboard. It does not look real. This guy has had the game of his life. And if they win it, I think there's going to be no doubt who's taking MVP. Yeah. I want to see one name on that vote.
It's going to be unfortunate as well because, again, if they win, as you said, he's MVP. You're 17 years old and you've got to try and beat a game where you're getting probably more than 33 kills. It's like,
peak
it's going to take me years to beat this one. I'm going to need a few OTs in there as well.
Yeah, in an upper bracket finally. You know, you do this in early stages, opening game, I'm going to say the other team's bad, but that's not the case. case here. And with 2 rounds between them, OpTic, they need to prove that they've got what it takes to bring it all the way. The operator on Sadik is pushed out. Good recon. The utility clearing back yellow as well. This is giving them a lot of control and a lot of room to play with. An old Orb recovered. Won't really play into all too much just yet. Victor's still quite far away from that ulti. The drone clears a lot of space. Problem is that wall's going to go down fairly soon, so Finesse does well to close the distance. Up is down. This is a fake.
They baited it out. They baited out the Hunter's Fury, and now they're going to pressure him. Ye gets that spot on. The timing onto Sassy, there was nothing that he could do. And again, they're going to start to reset back in the other direction, but they're leaving players behind. This push and pull from OpTic has been sublime on this attack, and there's only going to be one man in their way, and he's just not connecting those knives.
He says the Vandal to work with, but Sadik going down. The numbers are so thinned out for Loud. This is almost okay, kill for Pancada. Still, 2v4, the weapons that they've got, the economy is very low. It looks like they're opting for the save. Pulling back to fight at 12 to what will be 12 to 11. And I think that's guaranteed now. Loud on the other side of the map. Incredible recovery by OpTic, and it feels like that has been the story for them, right? Their disruptive play to start was incredible. They haven't really been able to do the same moving on to Ascent in the same way, and certainly here, I think familiarity with the maps and the setups, really, that gap closed in after Fracture.
Yeah, I think as well, the other thing is just that control. Like, their attacking side has been something to almost marvel at. Like, the way that they're able to play around the utility they have, but also the push and pull. Taking control away, giving it back up, and then just slipping into a position where there's so much space for them to take, just because Loud are constantly trying to rotate to work out what they're doing.
I was about to lose my goddamn mind. I thought, because I was still watching the gameplay, I see the guy trying to save, like, Aspis is running around trying to save the operator, and the round ends, but just before it did, they hit the replay up, and I heard, I am the Hunter! I was gonna be like, Crashies, what are you doing, bro? But no, okay. 12 to 11. Hunter's Fury online for Team OpTic. That's the only ult they've got to play with, but it's damn sight better than what Loud have. Weaker weapons coming out in the form of a Bulldog. Utility still pretty healthy. Over on the Loud side, this is the final round of regulation. OpTic going to try to bring us to overtime here and now. And look at how slow they're playing this. Again, they like to apply the pressure, but the players on the other side of the map are holding for Loud to push up and seize map control. This time, though, Loud are not having any of that. They're not going to be found by some early aggression. Instead, they wait, they turtle, and they allow OpTic to make the first move.
Yeah, you see early shock darts as well coming out from OpTic, basically just trying to destroy the traps and give them a little bit more freedom around the map, although it hasn't really worked out. And because of this more passive hold that's currently there, OpTic are now slowly making their way forward. Now, there's a relatively aggressive position. They're also going to pop themselves a Hunter's Fury. This actually pulls more players in towards that A site, but it hasn't baited the rotation just yet. Sadak holding on the edge. He's still got the ability to escape.
30 seconds.
He's just going to wait for that pick, and he nails Marv. That's a problem as well, because that removes the screen.
The snake bite down instantly stops any sort of a plan from coming through. They don't have the utility to cover as they push forward. All these angles opening up for Loud, and the kills are going their way. It's left to Finesse, and he falls as well. Brazil have done it. They've made history as they go all the way to the grand finals.
From